Tonight on What the Heck Do I Know's PM Update, Work Primed, and Wildcard segments, we're talking about how to spot an opportunity. Sometimes it's hard to see because it looks like hard work. Opportunity is like a diamond in a rough. It isn't a guarantee of success, but a chance that puts you in a better position to achieve it. Finding opportunity also means taking risks. If everyone was already doing it, then it wouldn't be considered an opportunity, it would just be going with the flow or normal. In tonight's episode, we will look at different ways to spot opportunity in your personal development and at work. If you want to find out how, then stay tuned. Hey guys, I really enjoy making these videos for you, so if you get value from them or know someone who would, please support us by hitting like, subscribe, leaving comments, and of course sharing. What the Heck Do I Know presents PM Update with Leah and Mia. And now your host, Leah. Welcome back to PM Update. I'm Leah. Tonight we're looking at opportunity from two different perspectives. In Work Primed, opportunity in a work environment, and Wildcard, we look at opportunity in any environment. Being able to spot opportunities isn't always easy because sometimes it actually looks like something bad. Sometimes we see it and say no thanks because we think it'll be too hard or take us somewhere we don't want to go, or possibly won't turn out like we want. Taking an opportunity can be risky, but it's also very rewarding when it works out. In our show tonight, all of the stories revolve around a special group that helps people spot the opportunities. Mia, what can you tell us about this special group and the people they're helping? Tonight, I'll be introducing everyone to a superhero family that has super perception to spot opportunities and create situations to help others. Robert, Helena, Ivy, and Dante are known by the name Jones in their regular lives. In their super identities, they are part of the Wayfinders League and known as Mr. Chance, Mrs. Astute, Pragmatic Girl, and Provident Boy. Every day, they use their powers to help others spot the opportunities around them. This sounds exciting, Mia. Superhero stories? I think this is a first for us. Now, opportunity can be anywhere. Your attitude is going to have a lot to do with whether or not you see it. If you're good at spotting them, you can't and shouldn't chase after everything you see. There are only 24 hours in the day, and even if you are also a superhero, you won't have time to go after them all. And if you aren't good at spotting them, you can work on that by taking your situation through a series of what would happen if scenarios, or putting some ideas through a mental project management exercise, or maybe trying to find the silver lining to a bad thing and expanding the silver lining further. Do you see yourself as someone who sees opportunity easily or not? Let us know in the comments. Now, for our first quote question of the day, do you know who said, "Failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, and this time more intelligently"? The answer to this question and Mia's superhero stories coming up next, so stick around. The Wayfinder family lives a fairly normal life most of the time. They use their superpowers when they see an opportunity about to be missed. Sometimes they do it from the sidelines, sometimes as their normal personas, and sometimes in their full super ensembles. Their mission is to make sure that the people around them at least see the big opportunities around them. In this segment, we see how Robert and Helena make this happen at work for their colleagues. Our superheroes start their day just like the rest of us. Breakfast and going to work and school. After dropping off the kids, Helena and Robert continue into the city to work. But all of them are ready for a full day of spotting opportunities. When Robert got to his office, he noticed his friend Larry leaving. He waved, but Larry ignored him and kept going. When he got into the break room for coffee, he asked what was up. His coworkers told him that Larry and several others had been let go because they were making cuts in that department. Larry was pretty upset as he had just purchased a new car and had used most of his savings for it. Robert knew this was a job for a wayfinder. He called Helena to cancel their plans for lunch, letting her know he would be on a mission instead. He had his super ensemble in a bag at his desk, so this would be no problem. At lunch, he went to the restaurant next door, changed in their bathroom, and started a search for Larry. Robert flew around the city for a while, and while he was looking, he thought about the best way to help Larry to see the opportunity. Larry was an amazing marketing manager, but was honestly underutilized at an insurance company. He just had to see there was a huge potential for him to move up. He just needed to see the layoff as an opportunity to do it. Eventually, Robert found him at a bar near his house. Larry certainly wasn't going to find any opportunity there. Or was he? Robert could hear the bar owner Dale in the back talking to the bank about not being able to make his payment on his loan because business was so slow. This gave Robert an idea. He set off the alarms on a row of cars out front and waited out of sight. Everyone came out of the bar to see what was going on. When they realized it was nothing, they started to walk back inside. The owner recognized Larry and they started talking. Larry mentioned he was out of work, and Dale asked him what he did for a living. When he heard marketing manager, he asked if Larry thought he could do anything to help him out. One door had closed for Larry, but another one had opened. Robert knew his part here was done, but he would check on Larry to see how it went. Larry said he wasn't doing anything else, so he would give it a try, and they went to Dale's office to talk details. After about an hour of discussing details, Larry came up with several promotion ideas to help build his customer base. Within 2 weeks, Dale was able to make the payment to the bank again and paid Larry a consulting fee for helping him out. Dale also mentioned to his distributor what a whiz Larry was and how he had been able to help. They were trying to expand into new areas and would need a marketing manager who understood alcohol sales, so they called him up and offered him the position. Helena had a mission that day too. Hers was a bit simpler to implement since it didn't involve flying all over town. Just a nudge in the right direction. One of her coworkers, Betty, came to see her after a meeting about a project they were working on. Betty pointed out that this 4-year project was the longest one they had ever done, and it would be finishing the execution in a few weeks and starting the administrative closeout. The last couple of months had been really stressful trying to get everything finished on time, and Betty thought the team could really use the opportunity to let off a little steam, and perhaps some recognition or reward for all of the unpaid overtime they had been doing lately. Helena agreed and mentioned to Betty that she really had a knack for being the first to see something is missing and anticipating what is needed. When the boss came in to talk to Helena about some reports, Helena told him that Betty was just on her way to see him, urging Betty to share her idea with him. Their boss thought it was a great idea and asked Betty to come up with some ideas for appropriate rewards for the team. Helena commented again how Betty was always the first to think of these kinds of things. He agreed. The event was a success, and Betty had done a great job picking out the awards for the team members. She even got a little surprise herself. Because of the leadership she had shown over the 4-year project and anticipating the need for the company to acknowledge the success of the project and recognize the accomplishments of the team, her boss also announced that Betty would be getting a leadership position at the company in the next month.
Robert was able to tweak some circumstances to put 2 people together who needed help. The opportunity was in the chance meeting and Larry being willing to help Dale out. And of course, Dale returning the favor by raving about what a great job he did to someone else that could have used his services. In Betty's case, Helena noticed that Betty had recognized a need for something, as she often does, before others, and was hesitant to act on it at first. This can often happen in work situations where something that is needed has been left out of the plan. In some cases, when you see it, you can just do it. Other times, you might need to bring it up to others first and get approval before volunteering to do it, if that's your plan. Seeing these things and doing something about it is an opportunity because it shows you're paying attention and willing to resolve problems before other people know they exist.
Great stories, Mia, thanks. We're wishing the best for Larry and Betty in their new positions. If you're open to it, opportunity can come out of a bad situation. Being vocal about what you see happening and doing something about it is an opportunity, and can bring you further opportunity. Both of these require paying attention to what is going on around you and others. The Wayfinders help these folks, but if you start paying attention, you can do this for yourself. Now, the answer to our first quote question of the day. Do you know who said, "Failure is simply the opportunity to begin again, this time more intelligently"? That was industrialist, business magnate, chief developer of the assembly line technique of mass production, and founder of the Ford Motor Company, Henry Ford. In the second half of our show, Ivy and Dante will show us how they help in school. That's right, because opportunity isn't just about business and jobs. It could be about responsibility, being a better person, or making other improvements for yourself. Now, for the second quote question, do you know who said, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for a kindness"? The answer to this question and the continuing story of the younger Wayfinders coming up next. Mr. Chance and Mrs. Astute aren't the only ones that get to help people. Nope. Ivy and Dante do their part to save their classmates from missing opportunities too. They are always on the lookout to lend a hand with their super perception when needed. On this particular morning, Ivy was walking into the school with her friends when she overheard a conversation going on between a couple of girls ahead of them. Apparently, one of the girls named Betsy had the opportunity to train at an elite tennis camp over the summer through a family connection. She was telling her friends she was thinking about turning it down because she didn't want to be away from her friends for the whole summer. Ivy knew this was going to be a job for a Wayfinder. She found a classroom to duck into and change into her super ensemble to address the situation. She flew through the hallway to catch up with the other group of girls. "Greetings, Betsy. I am Pragmatic Girl from the Wayfinders League, and I think I might be able to help you. I understand you have a decision to make about where to spend the summer. I'm a Wayfinder and I can help." Betsy and Ivy, aka Pragmatic Girl, went to the lunchroom to talk it through. Ivy asked Betsy all of the reasons she didn't want to do it and wrote them down. 1. It's going to be a lot of hard work. 2. I will miss my friends and family. 3. I'm not good enough to play professionally anyway. And 4. I can work with my trainer here and still make the team. Once Ivy heard all of her reasons, she started explaining. Since you haven't made up your mind yet, please consider what an opportunity you will be passing up if you don't go. Opportunities in life will often come from friends and family connections before you start getting them from outside your inner circle. Not many people can get a spot in this summer program, so even getting the offer is an opportunity. Yes, it will be hard work, and you will miss people here. The question you need to ask yourself now is, will it be worth it? You think you aren't good enough to play professionally now, but will that still be true after attending this camp? Being away from obligations of friends and family will allow you to put more focus into your training and concentrate more on improving. Even if you don't improve enough to play professionally, you might improve well enough to get a college scholarship. You could continue to work with your trainer here and make the high school team, but is that all you want after the time and effort you've put into tennis so far? Wouldn't it also be nice to give you something back after all you have given to it? Also consider that if you turn down this opportunity, it is unlikely you will ever get another one related to tennis. No one will think you're interested enough to do it if you say no to this one, and the opportunity will go to someone else. Well, you have given me a lot more to think about, Pragmatic Girl. Thank you. I'm still not sure what I'm going to do this summer, but you have definitely made it look like a better option than it did an hour ago. You said a lot of things I hadn't really considered before. I do love tennis, and I don't think I'm ready to give up on it yet. I appreciate you taking the time to help me put it into perspective. Dante also got to put on the super ensemble today. Their teacher introduced a new student to the class as Cliff, a person of determination, because he was deaf. Cliff had a helper with him to translate the lessons and accompany him to special classes. Dante knew that another classmate of his, Sally, knew at least some American Sign Language, or ASL. She had an uncle who was deaf and had started learning at home. At recess, Dante suited up and then swooped down to Sally, who was playing with a group of girls as usual. "Greetings, Sally. I am Provident Boy, and I would like to introduce you to an opportunity." "An opportunity for what?" she asked. "An opportunity to be helpful." Sally didn't seem particularly interested, but was willing to listen. "I know that you know at least a little bit of ASL. Don't you think it would be a good idea if the rest of your classmates learned some of it too?" "I guess so," she answered. "But that isn't my job. Shouldn't the school be teaching them instead of me?" "I'm sure they probably could in time, but since it's Cliff's first day, it would be awfully nice if the whole class could say hello to him at least." "You're right," Sally said. "That would be a nice thing. Gather round, everyone who wants to learn how to say hello to Cliff." When they all came back into the classroom, Sally leading the group, everyone stopped to say hello to Cliff. The teacher remarked what a kind gesture that was and asked Sally if she would like to be the hall monitor for next month, since she had shown a willingness to take on extra responsibility towards a classmate.
Pragmatic Girl and Provident Boy are both a little more obvious about their help, but still just there to point out the pros and cons, or where the opportunity is, and letting their classmates make up their own minds on whether it is best for them to take it or not. Oftentimes, people don't realize, like Betsy, that when they turn down an opportunity for something, they aren't just turning down that opportunity, but very likely all opportunity associated with it in the future. That is so true, Mia. I'm sure most of our viewers are familiar with the concept that if you want something, you usually need to ask for it. And in this case, turning down an opportunity would be like saying, "I don't want this," instead of "I do." Ivy and Dante might actually have a more difficult job than their parents. I know when I was younger, I saw a lot of opportunities, but picking was harder for me then because I wasn't sure what I wanted to be when I grew up. And actually, I'm still not sure. Choosing an opportunity that is going to take you where you want to go is harder when you aren't sure exactly where you want to end up. Now, for the answer to our final quote question for the day. Do you know who said, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for a kindness"? That was statesman, dramatist, and Stoic philosopher Seneca the Younger. That's all for What the Heck Do I Know's PM Update with Leah and Mia and our Work Primed and Wildcard segments for this week. Thank you for watching and see you next time on our next episode of PM Update. Good night. Hey, before you go, don't forget to support these videos by hitting like and subscribe. I love seeing comments too.